So this is the official start of the bulk. I'm going to be calling it the winter bulk even though it's still fall. Just kind of getting a head start on it, and just makes the most sense to me because majority of the time spent in the bulk is going to be in the winter and probably into the spring as well. So what we are going to be doing every morning is 30 minutes of cardio. Now today is going to be a little bit different just because prior to the start of this, goal of bulking, I had been running a lot, usually 3 to 6 miles a day. So we're gonna have one more send off with that just because I do enjoy it and it is a lot of fun for me. So we're gonna get that in one last time, but I just want to get a full, basically just evaluation of how we're looking. We are at, for body weight, 155, 156. I'm going to be doing my weight in the morning after cardio, so when we get back, we will get an official track of that. As we can see, pretty lean, not holding on to hardly any body fat in the midsection. So, get a little on the back view. Does look like I'm wearing a sports bra today, so that's great. But it's the only way I could think of to capture this cardio on my run this morning. So, like I said, it is going to be 30 minutes of cardio every morning. It is not always going to be a run. More than likely, this is going to be one of the very few runs, if not the only run that happens. So it'll more than likely just be on the bike or on the treadmill for 30 minutes at some sort of incline. So this is just, for me, for fun. This is not going to be a typical thing. It is not enjoyable to run at a higher weight as you get into a bulk, at least from my experience. So we're going to enjoy it one last time. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and switch over to the sports bra GoPro and go from there. Got the thumbnail. All right, we are about to begin. Like I said, this isn't going to be typical. This is just today because I enjoy running and it'll feel good before we start gaining weight. This setup it doesn't look crazy from the front, but like from the back, like I already showed you inside, it's just pretty self-conscious about it. It looks pretty fruity. So we're just gonna roll with it, and I think it'll create some pretty cool footage, so it'll be worth it. So all right, make sure we're still recording. It looks good. We are starting off at the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, and get this all tightened up and we'll begin. It'll be about a 6-mile loop, and yeah, see, when we get back, this will be a starting point and it will also be the end point. So here we go.
Whew. All right, that is a wrap. 6 miles, 38:32, so it's like a sub 7-minute mile, give or take. That was tough. All right, that concludes the cardio.
All right, so just to update, this is going to be my first meal of the day, the pre-workout meal. It is going to be a cup of rice, 12 eggs, the rest of this cheese, and then probably like 4 bananas with some peanut butter. And that'll be meal 1. is going to be our first meal. Again, that is 12 eggs. I don't really scramble them. I just kind of crack them into the pan and then kind of over easy them in a way. Basically, it's just the most convenient way to cook them. Is just sticking them in there, flipping them over, making sure they're cooked both sides, and then about a cup of rice with olive oil and then just some general spices just to make it a little bit easier to get down so it's not so plain. And that will be the first meal of the day before the gym. And so today is going to be a push day, and the first thing I like to do is get a 5-10 pound plate and just depend on, obviously, if you're going to be doing a push day or shoulders or chest, just essentially being able to warm up the rotator cuff, shoulders, get everything warm. And then, of course, that's in addition to the actual warm-up sets beforehand as well. But I kind of bounce around in terms of what I do to warm up. Sometimes this is always a thing. And then depending on how I'm feeling, if I'm warm, cold, I'll hop on the treadmill, 5-10 minutes, just get everything warmed up. But today, I was sweating before I even got in the gym. It is super hot in here, so we are going to forego the treadmill and just more so focus on warming up the joints and getting some blood into them and getting everything nice and prepped. Now, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It's just literally moving your joints through a nice range of motion with a little bit of resistance, and you'll kind of know when everything's warmed up because it'll feel just loose and ready to go. So this will be the last little set here, and then we'll get into the working weight, which we will be starting with a bench press 5x5. And basically my big priority on this bulk is going to be getting my bench, squat, deadlift numbers up. So we will be focusing every workout on one of those 3 lifts in the very beginning before we do anything else. So like I said, today is a push day, which means it's going to be bench. Tomorrow will be pull, which will be deadlift, and then the day after that will be legs, which will be squats. So I'm going to go ahead and get warmed up on the bench here and go from there. All right, no matter how strong you are, I think it's always a good idea to warm up with the bar, even if you're a 3, 4, 5 plate bench presser. Just feels good. I don't know. I've always done it this way, and it just feels nice to kind of incrementally work your way up to your working weight. Now, today is the start of the bulk, meaning everything prior to this. I had been doing a lot of bodyweight stuff, primarily running. So this bar does not feel like it used to, 6-7 months back whenever I had last done my bulk. This actually feels heavy, not heavy, but it definitely doesn't feel like just, if you having experience with the bulking phase, you kind of know that it doesn't take very long, or even if you have any good amount of strength and you've been training the bench press, it's kind of like the bar should feel like really nothing. It should feel like you're kind of just moving your arms through the range of motion. With this, I did feel some weight and some resistance, so that'll go away quickly, but it definitely doesn't feel as easy as it should. Not saying it's heavy, just saying it doesn't feel like a feather. But let's go ahead and get into our next warm-up. So after the bar, I always go to a plate on each side. That's just what feels best for me. Kind of wastes the least amount of time and effort, so that way when you actually get to your working sets, you aren't worn out by that point. And as you'll notice, this is not a regulation bench, bar, squat rack, anything like that. But it is, it will do the job. And what I actually need to do is order some 45-pound plates, because these are the only two that are in here. And there's like a 25, a 35, some 10s. So I'm gonna order some off of Amazon shortly, so that way when we get into heavier deadlifts and squats and bench, we will be ready to go. But make do with what you have. I also have a gym membership I'll probably be at once in a while. But this is super convenient because it's at the apartment, and it's quite comfortable, easy, and effective. So let's get into this set here. That's 10 reps. Felt pretty decent actually. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a 25 on each side, and ideally, if we can do that for our 5x5, I will be super happy. So. I'll know pretty quickly just based off this first set whether or not this is going to be the working weight. Kind of hoping it is, because I don't want to go any lower than this. I'm hoping my baseline strength is still at this point. So this will be the true test, but there's no reason I shouldn't be able to get at least 5 banged out and then just rest however long is needed in between sets to be able to get through all 5 sets. So let's see. So I should mention that there is a pin that these come with that I failed to engage because I didn't feel it was necessary. But yeah, start using those. I just kind of figured if I was gentle enough, we could just rack, unrack, no big deal. But yeah, no. Now I'm even questioning how solid those are. But it's not a ton of weight, so, you know, it's not too many worst case scenarios with this. Oh, this is the wrong pin. Okay. Feels good. That felt pretty easy. So we'll probably just stay at that weight for now, because I don't want to get overly ambitious and then raise the weight, get to the third, fourth set, whatever, 5, and not be able to finish out the last reps. So we'll keep it at that. Now I'm wondering how strong these really are. It's only one way to tell. Continue using them. Alright, let's get our second set in. Definitely starting to feel a little bit heavier. Not terrible, but definitely like RPE probably 8, 7.5, 8, something like that. Definitely getting heavier, but yeah, we got 5 more. No problem. This thing is super rickety. I don't know how often we'll be maxing out on squats for this, or bench for that matter. We will see. All right, this will be the final set. I'm gonna try and do it as quickly as possible. Just be explosive. That actually felt really good. Mindset. I think you just go into it, really positive thoughts. It'll definitely help you out. What I like to do, something that I've always done, is after my working sets on bench, I strip it down to a plate on each side, no matter where my strength level's at. Always a plate on each side, and just basically do as many reps as possible within at least 60 seconds of finishing your last working set. $11 is not too bad. Deeper into this strength increase bulk season, I would expect to get like 20 up every time. But this is the beginning, so we'll take that. I forgot to say, the reason I do that is just that extra little stimulus at the end of your working set that just gives you that little bit of extra fatigue and breaks down some more muscle fibers, and just gives you a little bit extra challenge at the end, and that'll just accumulate over time and add up, in my opinion. So yeah, we're gonna strip this down, and then we're gonna go to the lead incline press next. So for this, we're going to be doing probably 4 sets, and based off of how this first one feels, I'll know the rep range, but I'm going for 10. If I could get 10 sets of 4, I would be ecstatic. So we'll just feel it out, see how it goes. Scratch to 10. 8 reps will be more than sufficient, and even that will be pushing it on the last few sets, I'm sure. So give it a few minutes after that one.
All right, this is gonna be definitely a tough one, but I'm confident. If anything, we do the roll of shame and go out like that, but I think we got 8 if we really push. Yeah, that went about as well as I thought it would go. Definitely tough. RPE 11 or 12. So that's probably one of the more unfortunate parts of bulking is you will inevitably lose some of your facial definition depending on how extreme you go with it. I don't tend to lose mine terribly bad, but it certainly will not look like this in a couple of months. But it's a trade-off. It's a good trade-off. So anyways, we are going to do some shoulder presses, and we're gonna do, what are these, 30? We're gonna do probably the 40-pound dumbbells. I don't see why we can't make that happen. For these, I do not sit there and go through a working set, usually, since I'm already warmed up from the bench. My shoulders are already very primed and ready to go. We just jump straight into the 40-pound dumbbells and get our first set of 10, and I'd like to do that for, like I said, about four sets. All right, we are going to have to lower the weight on those for sure. A little overly ambitious. Let's we'll just move down to the 35s. Still count that as our first set. But certainly, there's no way we were getting those for another 3 sets, unless I sat there for like 10 minutes in between sets, but not worth it. Now, when you do these, I think it's super important that you go as upright as possible. This bench, that's the last notch, so that is not exactly 90 degrees, but yeah, what you don't want to do is move it into like that notch right there and still count it as a shoulder press, because now you're introducing a lot of your upper chest into the movement. So we will knock out another 3 sets. Hopefully this doesn't give me as much of a struggle as the 40s did. Also, do your best not to cheat on these and
scoot your butt forward so you're at an arch and you can kind of still do some, you know, almost like an incline. Get your butt all the way back, as far back as it'll go. Your torso should be pretty much perfectly vertical to engage your shoulders as much as possible. Way better. It's like the perfect amount of resistance. This outfit makes me look super tiny. Not that I'm not, but it doesn't do me any favors, certainly, with the baggy shirt, baggy pants. Kind of trying to go for that sleeper build, except the issue is it looks like a sleeper build with the shirt on and with the shirt off. So, yeah. What I like to do in that event is, let's say I didn't finish all the reps, such as that last set, I'll go down 5-10 pounds if I'm on like the dumbbells, and basically do as many reps as possible just to get the burnout and kind of make up for those missed reps. In this situation, we went down 10 pounds to 25. Oh, I lied. 20, not 25.
We are going to go down to the 10-pound dumbbells because those 15s felt a little overly ambitious for how I'm feeling right now. So, and lateral raises really aren't a movement where you're trying to push, I should say, pull or bring up as much weight as possible. It's more so focusing on the contraction and just getting a really nice engagement on your shoulders. Not too much swinging, just a nice contraction at the top. All right, so that concludes the push day. We will see what kind of pump we have, if any. I'm actually holding on to a lot more muscle than I anticipated, so that actually gives us a really nice foundation to work off of for the bulk, for sure. Gotta find the best lighting and angles, of course. I'll take that for sure. All right, that'll be a wrap. We're gonna go and get some dinner and edit this video and go to bed. Which, by the way, if you've never done any kind of recording for a full not day in the life per se, because this wasn't on me the entire time, but it's considerably more effort than I would have thought, for sure. Just because you're always thinking about, like, okay, you know, doing cardio, I'm eating, what am I going to do after I eat for the workout, after the workout meal, and then of course there's editing. So it's not really as easy as just like recording one constant stream of footage and then like throwing it up on YouTube or something like that. Not that that's how I thought it was, but definitely takes at least a little bit of work. So anyone that does this full time, props, because it is not just a walk in the park. So try and get a good thumbnail. I was going to use one of the ones from earlier, before or after I did my cardio, but I feel like this looks way better. And a lot of this stuff too is about, like, obviously you need to have a good physique, but if you can just get like the right lighting, the right angles, for example, if we were to go in this lighting, like, it still looks good, you know, but it doesn't look as good as shadows and whatnot that you'll be able to get out of downlight, such as that one.
Turn it